So I can see that the new Halloween movie is getting good reviews. There's something I've seen said a few times, and I want to answer it because I want to answer it because I've watched a lot of horror movies for a long time. Now, the original Halloween is a classic, and by today's standards, I don't know that it's an R-rated movie. And I'm serious. I think there are like a couple of small scenes that if you snip 15 seconds out here and 15 seconds out there, it's a PG-13 rated movie. And it does take a while to get things going, and the body count's relatively low for a horror movie. Halloween 2 ramped up the gore, ramped up the body count, and destroyed the music. Halloween 2, though, ended it. Halloween 3, 8 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Uh, Fun, stupid little movie. I remember watching it as a kid. It terrified me because I don't like bugs at all. So yeah, that movie just was on the no list for a while. Then they came out with this, and I keep hearing about all these crappy sequels to Halloween, crappy sequels, and honestly, for the most part, they're right. Part 5 was bad. It had its moments, but man, at the end, the guy, well, I don't get it. I still don't get it, and I've seen part 6. Part 6 takes the whole story of Michael Myers and tries to explain why Michael Myers is Michael Myers, and they screw it up. They royally screw it up. Part 6 is only noticeable and notable, I should say, because Paul Rudd's in it. You want to see a young Paul Rudd running away from Michael Myers? That's your movie. If you're thinking, I could probably find a better thing to do than watch Paul Rudd run away from Michael Myers, you're right. Go ahead. But this is a good movie. I don't get upset about the whole lore being lost and that they're doing a direct sequel to the original because they like their money. And you're not going to make money selling Halloween 11 or Halloween 10 or another Halloween reboot or giving the reins back to Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's Halloween remake is not bad if you just watch the first 45 minutes. Until you can tell he was basically told, okay, and then you got to remake the original movie for the last 45 minutes. And he adds extra gore, which is upsetting. He doesn't kill off Annie Brackett. She dies in the sequel. So, spoilers. And anybody who wanted to see the Rob Zombie versions will have seen them. And they were more depraved and more violent and less coherent. Okay, honestly. There was the coherence in the second movie, not really there. Where it gets gutsy is the idea that Laurie Strode, after being attacked and attacked and attacked, becomes crazy and becomes the killer. That is a storyline that I thought was fantastic. And I'm not a Rob Zombie movie fan. I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses. I didn't like Devil's Rejects. But man, the idea that Laurie Strode eventually becomes the killer, I would love to have seen what he could have done with that in a part 3. Never happened. So now they're rebooting it again. But the way they're rebooting it is with Jamie Lee Curtis, and they're doing it as a soft sequel with the same title. But they won't call it Halloween 2 because we've got a Halloween 2. So they're calling it Halloween because it's been 40 years. So I don't, again, it's like if Star Wars is coming out. Which one? Star Wars. Oh, so it's a remake? It's a sequel. Really? So I do feel upset that this one's gone. So I did a horror movies you can skip. Horror movies you shouldn't skip. I would have Halloween 4 at the top. It is not over the top gory. It is well done. The characters are well written. There is sort of a paint by numbers slasher movie thing with it, but it's not a bad movie. It really isn't. It's not a bad movie. I think there's a lot there to like. And if I had to recommend one movie for people to watch from that series, this would be the one. Anything after that, like H2O, which had Jamie Lee Curtis in it. H2O isn't bad either. H2O had her. It had a good cast. It had good script writing, and it had good reviews. But we'll just leave it because then in Halloween Resurrection she dies. So, And the idea that Michael's still after his sister is um, the theme that runs through all these movies. In these movies, he's after his niece. So his niece is played by Danielle Harris, and Danielle Harris now is a scream queen on her own. But it's funny because we're going to see more and more of this Halloween reboots and Halloween, not just these Halloweens, but I mean like Elm Street's going to end up getting some kind of a reboot at some point again. Friday the 13th will get another one at some point when they get out of development hell. And we're going to be stuck going through this all over again. And as I've said before, because horror movies aren't taken seriously, because they're not seen as real cinema by a lot of people, they don't have enough mainstream attention, you can just, we'll just reboot it. The only risk you take is, now they're not taking that with this Halloween, I think it's going to make a lot of money, but the risk you kind of take is that you may be alienating the audience that's buying the tickets. I'd love to see them redo Phantasm. I don't know that you can redo Phantasm. I think if you had a Phantasm set of movies that made sense, I think you could do really well. I know they're trying to reboot Hellraiser. I've seen is being rebooted. I was not a fan of the original Hellraiser. I liked the second movie a lot better, and I liked the third movie even better than the second, and then after that it just dove off a cliff. But, it's... Horror movies are tricky, because you are selling the violence. You are selling the kills. You are selling the idea that our killer, our villain, is more entertaining than the villain in that movie. So Michael, Jason has been a debate for years. Jason, Freddy has been a debate for years. I don't see much Michael-Freddy debate, but Jason and Michael, because of course Friday the 13th was based around the idea that the original movie of this series had made a lot of money, and they're like, how can we not make a Halloween movie, but we can make something like that? Friday the 13th was born out of the idea of, hey, we can do like a cheap knockoff of that. And the original movie for this didn't cost a lot of money, but I think Halloween cost more than Friday the 13th. I'm not sure about that, but Friday the 13th, the original, didn't cost very much money either. So I just wanted to state that if you haven't seen Halloween 4, if you have a chance to pick it up, it's not expensive in places I've found it. It is a good movie. And I don't mean that just in the case of a good horror movie. It's a good movie. There's some silliness in it, but there's some good stuff too. So this is one of those don't miss this kind of things. And I may look through my collection and grab other movies that, while Hollywood's obsessed with rebooting everything and it's ridiculous, it may wipe out some good movies. So I'm going to definitely chronicle movies that I think are pretty good. And this is where I'm going to start. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Let me know your picks as movies that get kind of lost in the shuffle. Good sequels. I'm looking for good sequels. Sequels you like. Like, for instance, I liked Ghostbusters 2, even though it's stupid. You can like a movie even though it's stupid. And for me, the other day I watched Men in Black 3. I love Men in Black 3. And I know not everybody did, but I think Men in Black 3 is fantastic. So, that's an example. Let me know in the comment section below. They don't have to be Halloween movies. I'm only mentioning this because of the new movies coming out, and it's getting tremendous reviews, which means this one is kind of forgotten because it's no longer canon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just happened upon this video. And happy October, everybody. I love October.